So much wrong with Manchester United, and a long-term change is needed, but nights like tonight are so magical and should be appreciated. Viva Ronaldo once again. Don says, Manchester United fought back as a team. Can Ole start the next game with that final 11 that ended this game, please? And Ovi says, when it comes to delivering the biggest moments, no other player in history comes close to Cristiano Ronaldo. But look, Paul, there's loads of questions coming in, so I think we just get straight to it. Let's go to the first one. Scholes are preaching on BT. I agree with every word. Celebrate the win, but let's not get carried away. A lot of work to do. Roll on Sunday, and there's lots of questions about Sunday. Right. Are Manchester United over-reliant on their star performers for their individual brilliance? I feel they lack the balance that we've been working so hard to create over the past few seasons. There's a fair few questions, actually, when it comes to balance as well. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I think that comment's exactly right. They do rely on the big players to get them wins in game. And do you know what? A lot of big clubs do. You look at Liverpool, rely on Mo Salah most of the time. Mane, good forward player. City rely on the best players to win in games of football. Of course you do. But the balance of the team, you can see, is not right. From that first half tonight, we saw they were all over the place. And my worry is when we play a top-class team, we're going to struggle.
What do you think of this question from Bernard Carthy?
Do you think the squad is unbalanced, or do you think it's a team and tactics are crazy? I think it's the tactics. I think it's a team. I don't think the squad is unbalanced. I think they've got the right personnel in there. It's just getting the best out of these players. We spoke so many times last year about not having the two older midfield players to make us a little bit more entertaining. We had two older midfield players in there to protect the back four. We brought Varane in, and we still can't seem to get that balance right. Now, it should be one of those players. We should be able to do it. I think Pogba is a problem because Ole doesn't trust him. He doesn't think about his position enough. The discipline isn't there. He's a little bit reckless in where he should be. There's no question the quality he has, but he needs somebody, he needs coaching all the time. He's 28-year-old. It probably sounds strange that he needs coaching all the time, but this lad could be 35 and you'll still need somebody who's here telling him all the time where to be. Now, I think they've got the perfect people for that. I said before the game, Michael Carrick played the position brilliantly. He should be showing him every single day where he should be. And if Paul takes that in, he should easily be able to play that position.
Does this play into the run you've got for the United shape for us?
Yeah, it certainly does. I think we can get it up.
Let's have a little look at the analysis, right?
Yeah, we can see. I think Ole said before the game that he was going to play a 4-2-4. Myself and Paul looked at each other and said, a 4-2-4, and it actually was. If you look at it here, it's a bad ball from Maguire, and if you can see the front four, Fernandes, Ronaldo.
Good job you got long arms, man.
Greenwood and Rashford. They're totally out of the game. And what Ole's definitely said to them is that you four go and winners of the game, the rest of us will defend. And if you can see from these clips here, they amble back. And all it takes is for them to move Fred a little bit here in midfield. Fred gets dragged out wide, and then McTominay's left on his own. As you can see, the front four have got no interest in really getting back. Fred's been dragged out, they cut back, they play out, and McTominay's left on his own with a back four. And it's so easy to play those little passes into the front. And that happened throughout the first half. And it's easy because, we can say here that, yeah, the front four did win them the game on this particular occasion, but it's poor opposition. And I think coming Sunday, and this is what Scholes is talking about, is coming Sunday when Liverpool are more solid and they've got far better attacking players, I do believe they'll come unstuck if they play this way. And it's all about the individuals and them going to win them the game, which they have done tonight. But I just don't think that's a sustainable model.
So what is the answer then? We've got a question that's come in from Michael. He says, what do you think United's best midfield combo is? McFred is always the go-to, but doesn't have the passing range in the middle of the park to break teams down at the top level. What do you want to see this Manchester United team look like in terms of starting 11, in terms of personnel and in terms of approach?
Look, I'm a big fan of McTominay. Can he play that role to hold a team together on his own? I think the jury's still out, but the jury's still out on all of them. Fred, Matic. I think Matic is obviously the most experienced. The question is getting that player next to him to play the position properly. Paul Pogba should be able to do it. I keep going back to him. He should be able to. I think he can do it if He's got the right people around him. Now, this team needs characters as well. There's never anybody coaching on the football pitch. We used to do that all the time. The manager wanted that. He wanted voices on the football pitch. None of these do that. And Paul Pogba is somebody, I keep going to it, he's somebody who needs that. And he's capable of doing it. Now, McTominay's got the legs to do it, definitely. He's got the qualities to do it. But you can't just leave 4 players up front. Them 2 players, they need help next to them.
My issue, I think Ole's issue, is Thomas Tuchel, Guardiola and Klopp. I think Manchester United fans are looking at those 3 managers with a CV behind them of winning trophies, winning Champions Leagues. With all due respect to Ole, he's come from Cardiff and Molde, not the same experience, and he's managing a club of Manchester United's stature. And the club of Manchester United's stature is in the same league as those clubs I've just mentioned. Unfortunately, doesn't have a manager that falls into the category that those clubs have. And I think every time they lose and every time they look tactically inept, it always falls back to that scenario of, how he got the job in the first place and them looking enviable at the rest of the teams, who are the best 3 teams in the league. And Manchester United do have a team that represents, that can compete with those teams, but they're not. And what is the reason for that? And that's why we keep going back to the manager.
What about this question from Mike then? Does Pep or Klopp win the league with this Manchester United?
It's a big question. I mean, I didn't know that one was coming. I really don't know.
That is the point, Crouch.
Listen, I think they have a strong chance. I really do. I think if Pep or Klopp are in charge of this Man United team, I think the front 4 are working a hell of a lot harder than they are at the moment. I think it just wouldn't be tolerated. I think with Pep Guardiola, we had one of the best players the Premier League has ever seen in Sergio Aguero. And he was put on the bench because he didn't fit into the team structure. And I don't think that Ole's going to put players on the bench. I don't think he wants to upset too many players. And I think the squad is good enough to compete with the best, and it's not at the moment.
What do you think?
I was hoping you wouldn't come to it. Look, 2 great managers, of course they are. Can they win? I don't know. We just don't know. We'll never know, will we? But
you think, though?
What do I think? I don't know, Jake. I don't know. I couldn't answer it. Look, Ole might win the league with this team.
Do you think he will?
Probably not, no. They're 2 amazing managers. They've got 2 really good teams. They could possibly, yeah, of course they could.
Just put it this way, I've seen some body language, and it's difficult because I don't be so negative after an amazing win tonight. Yeah. But I've seen body language on some of the players that if it was under Jurgen Klopp or it was under Pep Guardiola, they'd be hauled off and you wouldn't see them for a couple of weeks. Sometimes with the body language, with how the arms that have been thrown recently, and there's certain things that I've seen, that I've noticed, that have crept in that I don't like, and I think it needs to be nipped in the bud, sooner rather than later. And I think with those 2 managers, it would have been.
I think a few wings will be clipped, yeah. And I know exactly what you're saying. I do think Ole, I think he's brave enough to leave players out. I think he did it with Ronaldo the other week, didn't he, in a game? Probably a mistake, but he did it. He's left Pogba out, big player. So I don't think he's too afraid of it. But like he said, I think probably City's and Liverpool's players respect the manager a little bit more than United players do.
Really?
Well, when you look at the performance on Saturday against Leicester, then you'd have to say so, yeah.
You think that's what it comes down to? Respect for the manager?
No, I don't think it totally does. I think it's down to the manager to get effort and work rate out of players. Yeah. I say it's down to them. That should come as a given. But sometimes, you can't do it Wednesday, Sunday, Tuesday, Saturday, whatever it is. You need a bit of motivation. And you need to look at your man and think, yeah, I'm going to do it for you today. And I don't think it's always the case.
The thing is, at this level, I don't think you can have any passengers. If you're playing Champions League, you're playing Premier League week in, week out, you can't have it. And I look at the front 3 from Liverpool, and I look at the front players at Man City. The hardest, I remember coming off the pitch, getting absolutely pumped by Man City, and we looked at the stats the next morning on the Monday. The hardest working players in Man City's team, it was a while back, was David Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. The 2 best players in their team worked the hardest. Yeah. And I just don't see that in this United side at the moment. Obviously, great players, won the game tonight, congratulations, but I don't think that the best players are the hardest working players, and I think in the best teams they are.
This question from Richie is, can Ole survive this season playing like this? I know you'll say, yes, of course he can, so I'll change it slightly. Do you think Ole will survive this season playing like this?
I think he will, yeah.
What do you base that on?
Results will dictate.
Yeah.
I base it on, I don't think United want to change manager. But as always with managers, results will dictate. He's had a little bad run now. I think they lost 4 out of 7 games or something. But he always seems to find a way to get a reaction out of him. Now, a reaction against Atalanta, I don't really count because it's a game they should win anyway. I think the reaction has to come now on Sunday against a proper team.
You know, the thing is, this result today, that second half can galvanise them. You know, it can be a springboard. They can use that against Liverpool. But
some positivity, lovely.
Well, I'm trying.
I think so. And let me just make one real quick point, right? When we had the Europa League final, right, and Manchester United lost on penalties and we stood there going, oh, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the answer for them because they haven't won? If they'd have just scored a spot kick, we would have been standing there going, great, they've won a European trophy, this is the start of something new. We have to be really careful about analysing games of football based purely on the result. You can't just say it was great because United won 3-2, right?
No, I don't think we would have been, Jake, because the Europa League final is not something Manchester United should even be thinking about. Remember, they were in that competition because they failed in the Champions League. So that doesn't make any difference.
I think that people say about trophy, I think winning an FA Cup, a League Cup or a Europa League, I think papers over cracks. You know, with the team they have, I think they should be competing Premier League and Champions League.
Very good. We'll finish with this one from Gary Lineker. We miss you, Gary. Every single time you think Ole's hands have slipped off the wheel out of nowhere, somehow he grabs hold of it again. Thanks to Gary. Thanks to everyone for getting in touch. Thanks to you two for your honesty. Thanks for you as well for tuning in and enjoying the show. Oh, there you are.